Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev are going to be clashing for the vacant lightweight title in UFC 280, and we're going to break down this fight by comparing each fighter's skills and go over what other fighters think the outcome is going to be. Let's start with the hype over this fight. This fight has been the most hyped fight in lightweight in recent times. The reason behind that is the win streaks of both the fighters. Charles Oliveira has an 11 fight win streak and Islam Makhachev has a 10 fight win streak. Since both of them are good grapplers, most people think that it's going to be a tough fight for both the fighters. This fight is being viewed as Charles versus Khabib because Islam is the closest you can get to Khabib ever fighting in the octagon again. Let's go over Charles Oliveira's record quickly. He has 11 fight win streak and all of them are finishes except for the one against Tony Ferguson. 7 of his last 10 fights were won by submission. He holds the record for most submission wins in UFC history. That's 16 fights. Even though he was stripped of the title due to a weight controversy, he is still the champion in people's minds. The champion has a name and it's Charles "The Bronx" Oliveira. Let's go over Islam Makhachev's records. He has a 10 fight win streak and 6 of them were finishes, and he's also an expert in the ground. He's been trained by Khabib, and before that he was trained by Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, that is Khabib's father, and we all know that Khabib was one of the best grapplers in the lightweight division ever. So, and he has Khabib in his corner right now. It might seem like a small thing, but if you look at his fight against Dan Hooker, Khabib was literally able to give him instruction which ultimately led to him winning.
Осторожно! Не спеши, осторожно!
It's definitely an advantage having Khabib in his corner. Here's how some of the fighters predict this fight is gonna go. Charles Oliveira's last 3 fights, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier, all 3 of them have predicted that Charles Oliveira is gonna lift the belt on 22nd.
I love this. What do you think about this? It's gonna be hard?
Who do you feel like would win though? Charles Oliveira or Islam Makhachev?
Man, that's a real tough one. I've been thinking about it since the fight got announced. I'm leaning towards Oliveira, only because I've been in there with him and I know how dangerous he is.
Final one for me, Islam versus Charles. Who have you got in that one?
Charles Oliveira. I think Charles Oliveira gets the job done. I think Islam, not that he's not great, not that he is not highly touted, not that he is not going to be a future champion, but there should be no reason why he should ever be a favorite in that fight against Charles Oliveira. What Charles Oliveira has done over the last couple fights, finishing everybody that he's fighting, is nothing short of amazing. The resurgence of Charles Oliveira's career from relatively unknown, somewhat up and down, can't be relied upon journeyman to now a legitimate #1 lightweight on the planet has been something to behold. So put some respect on Charles Oliveira's name. I think Charles Oliveira goes out there, and I honestly think he finishes him.
And Justin Gaethje even told that he hasn't been hurt this bad by anyone else.
My last fight, Charles was brilliant, and he hurt me often. He hurt me early. I felt something I've never felt in a cage. So I'm 100% confident that Islam will not dominate Charles.
Khabib believes that Sambo is much better than Jiu-Jitsu.
Sambo is easy. It would be called Jiu-Jitsu. It would be called Luke Rockhold.
He believes that Islam will be able to take down Oliveira and submit him easily. Another fighter who's very interested in this fight is Alexander Volkanovski. He's been eyeing the lightweight title for a long time now. In an interview with DC, he told that he will be ready as a backup fighter if someone has to pull out, and he believes that Islam Makhachev is gonna win.
Of being, if they need a backup fighter,
Oh wow!
I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to be the guy that's going to be there. Yes, I'm
so you'll be in Abu Dhabi.
Saying, hey,
you're going to be in Abu Dhabi.
I'm telling them I want to be there. I'll be the backup. I'm going to be fit enough. I'm going to get enough of the camp to stay in good enough fitness, and I'll do it. You know what I mean? That's the type of guy I am. Who do I expect holds that belt after that fight? Probably Islam. But I'll be there watching just in case I need to step in.
Islam Makhachev blames Oliveira's lack of skill for not being able to finish Tony Ferguson.
They not finish.
What if you can't take him down?
What if you can't take
What
him?
if you can't take him down?
Exactly. That's my question.
I'm gonna take him down very fast. Listen, he finished all his opponent, brother, and his all opponent striking. But Tony Ferguson have little bit grappling. He cannot finish him.
Tony is a little bit experienced in jiu-jitsu, and that's why he wasn't able to finish Tony Ferguson. But that arm bar was really tight. I think anybody else would have tapped out.
Because he's stupid guy. You know, that's why nobody understands him.
It's being proved again and again that you cannot predict a fight no matter how simple it looks on paper. And I had a recent reminder of that when Leon head kicked Usman into the abyss. Keeping all this in mind, I believe that it's definitely not going to be an easy fight. A lot of people say that Islam has not fought high level people and that Charles has more experience than him, which is true, but unpopular opinion. I believe that Islam Makhachev beats all the fighters that Charles has fought. They are exceptional fighters. They are on the top 5. Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, all of them are really hard hitters, good strikers, but their grappling game is not up to the level of Islam Makhachev, and that's why I think he beats all of them. But it's not gonna be the same against Charles Oliveira because he is the submission king in UFC. Everybody knows about Charles Oliveira's submission and grappling, which is on point. But he is also a good striker and he has been in tough spots before with Chandler and Dustin Poirier, but he was able to push through them and secure a win, and it says more about his mentality, and people doubt whether Islam Makhachev has that mentality to push through. If it is a stand-up game, I think Charles Oliveira would be the better striker. With all these things considered, I still believe that Islam Makhachev is gonna win. I believe that Islam Makhachev might have the edge over Charles Oliveira. I don't think Charles Oliveira has fought against anyone with world-class grappling experience, and mostly his fights have been against strikers who were not up to his level in grappling. But Islam Makhachev has fought against grapplers like Sarukyan and come up with a unanimous decision victory.
0 for 3 on the stats at the moment. Oh, look at that! Does that count? No. My goodness, what a scramble.
Man, his wrestling is ridiculous. And I think Makhachev senses that, gets a big takedown. Sarukian, he's feeling it a little bit. Another takedown. He's using that butterfly hook, but
for the winner by unanimous decision, Islam Makhachev.
Islam winning this fight is probably really good for the division because he hasn't fought a lot of people in the top 5, and this opens up a lot of future fights for his title defenses. He can fight Gaethje, he can fight Dustin Poirier, he can fight Chandler, he can fight Beneil Dariush, he can fight against Volkanovski. That is also a possibility. There is one reason why Charles Oliveira beating Islam Makhachev can be really good. Just imagine Charles Oliveira beats Islam Makhachev and calls out Khabib Nurmagomedov, and he comes out of retirement just to take revenge for Islam Makhachev. That would be the biggest fight in UFC history. Everybody would love to see that, but that's probably not gonna happen. There is a tiny possibility, but probably not gonna happen. Regardless of how this fight goes, it's gonna be really interesting. Comment who you think is gonna win and why. Like this video and subscribe to support the channel, and see you guys in another video. Thank you.